Is Sabah's star party really ditching GRS? A viral video says yes, but the party's deputy info chief claims it was taken out of context. Meanwhile, the chief judge of Malaya has been named as acting chief justice until the vacancy is filled. The move has drawn sharp criticism from Perikatan Nasional. Let's take a look at what they're saying. A short TikTok clip of Jeffrey Kitingan went viral, making it sound like his party, Parti Solidariti Tanah Airku or STAR, is ditching GRS. However, the party's Deputy Information Chief, Ardino Diris, said the video is misleading. He told Malaysiakini that the video was taken out of context, with parts of Kitingan's conversation removed. According to him, it left out the parts where Kitingan was talking about seat allocations. Ardino also downplayed the likelihood of STAR leaving the coalition. He said he doesn't think that will happen and he believes Kitingan, Deputy Chief Minister Joachim Gunsalam and Chief Minister Haji Noor have already discussed this matter in detail. When contacted, Kitingan also rubbished the video. He told Malaysiakini that if he had the intention to leave GRS, wouldn't he be capitalizing on the media? He added that the individual behind the recording had first asked what he would do if GRS was forced to partner with BN and Pakatan Harapan in the upcoming state election. Yesterday, a brief video surfaced showing Kitingan stating that his party intends to leave the ruling Sabah coalition. The 13-second clip was published by news portal Malaysia Now on TikTok. However, Malaysia Now reported an unnamed officer of Kitingan claiming that the statement was quoted out of context and concerned a different matter. Still on Sabah, another one of their representatives has denied links to graft allegations linked to mining licenses in Sabah. Sabah Youth and Sports Minister Elron denied receiving an alleged 530,000 ringgit bribe in connection with the corruption scandal. This was in response to a Malaysiakini June 28th report. He said he categorically denies the allegation that he had received a bribe or was involved in a transaction worth 530,000 ringgit. He added that the accusation is a baseless slander driven by immature political motives and it tarnishes his good name and integrity as a people's representative. Elron, who is the Parti Solidariti Tanah Airku Deputy President, said he has always upheld the principles of integrity, accountability, and clean governance in line with the Sabah state government's commitment to combating corruption. He added that he had instructed his legal team to initiate action against any party spreading false accusations against him. A source had previously provided Malaysiakini with screenshots said to be from video recordings involving another 6 leaders. Sabah Finance Minister Masidi has urged all quarters to study the facts first before commenting on Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's recent remarks on the joint development of the disputed Ambalat block with Indonesia. He told reporters last night that he thinks it would be better to ask for clarification from the federal government so that we know the facts instead of just speculations. Masidi added that Anwar had merely issued a general statement on the matter and did not elaborate. He said it is better to get the facts right before making comments because otherwise it just becomes speculation. He also said that Sabah MPs will likely seek clarification in the next parliament sitting. Last month, Anwar reportedly said Malaysia and Indonesia should proceed with joint development of the disputed oil-rich Ambalat area without waiting to resolve legal and regulatory issues. Bernama reported Anwar as saying that if we wait for everything to be finalized, it might take another 2 decades. Anwar has said this following talks with Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. Anwar's announcement had since attracted fierce criticisms, especially from Sabah leaders who questioned him for making the decision without consulting the state. Chief Judge of Malaya Hasnah Hashim will be serving as acting Chief Justice. The Chief Registrar of the Federal Court said that this is until the vacancy is filled. In a statement, it said Hasnah will exercise the powers of the Chief Justice and her own post simultaneously for the time being. The Registrar said that Hasnah will carry out the duties as per Article 131A of the Federal Constitution and Section 9(1)(b) and Section 9(3) of the Courts of Judicature Act 1964. This comes after Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat's tenure as Chief Justice ended on July 1st, with Putrajaya not announcing her replacement. Apart from Tengku Maimun, Court of Appeal President Abang Iskandar Abang Hashim also retired yesterday. The coming months will also see the retirement of other senior judicial figures, including Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak, Abdul Rahman Sebli, and Federal Court Judges Nalini Pathmanathan, Zabaria Yusof, and Hanipa Farikullah. Perikatan National Chief Whip Taqiyuddin Hassan has called on Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to expedite the permanent appointments of 2 top judicial posts. This comes after Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat's tenure as Chief Justice ended on July 1st. He said, "It is unprecedented for both the Chief Justice and the Court of Appeal President's posts to be held by the same person." In a statement, he cited Judge of Malaya Hasnah Hashim's appointment in acting capacity to the post. He stated that this is an extremely odd, extraordinary, and unprecedented development in the country's legal history. He said it raises major questions about the strength of the separation of powers and the independence of the judiciary, both of which are fundamental to the rule of law in any democracy. Taqiyuddin also claimed that failure to act promptly and appropriately in the appointment of top judicial positions had sparked perceptions of obvious interference, deliberate neglect, or worse still, a hidden agenda to influence or control the judiciary. He said PN stresses that the independence of the judiciary must not only exist, but must also be seen to exist. Earlier, a report had said that Hasnah will be holding all 3 top judicial positions. However, the Chief Registrar of the Federal Court in a statement only named her as acting Chief Justice. Apart from Tengku Maimun, Court of Appeal President Abang Iskandar Abang Hashim had also retired yesterday. A PAS leader has cautioned the government of possible escalating costs. This came following reports that some retailers may hike up prices following the expansion of the sales and service tax. In a series of posts on Facebook, PAS Information Chief Ahmad Fadli Shari said the issue isn't about how many percent the SST has increased. He added that the real issue is the expansion of the tax scope, which will ultimately raise prices of the end product. Fadli said that Pakatan Harapan supporters easily ask the public to boycott retailers that hike prices. However, he said it's not as simple as that, and as the government, they should study why retailers have no choice but to raise prices. Citing a local media report, Fadli said that Maidin Mall, a hypermarket popular among the B40 and M40 communities, would raise prices gradually starting in August after clearing its old stocks. He said according to the mall's managing director Amir Ali Maidin, their new stock will be affected by the expansion of SST. The report from Sinar Harian quoted Amir as saying that he would have no choice but to hike prices as his suppliers would have done the same due to the new tax regime. However, Amir reiterated that he would not raise prices whimsically and would only consider the matter if costs escalate. If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysiakini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe. The National Youth Federation Federasi has urged PKR Youth Chief Kamil Abdul Munim to show up for a debate. This was in response to his comments to the participants of the Sabah Anti-Corruption Rally 2.0 following the symbolic burning of Anwar Ibrahim's image in Kota Kinabalu. Kamil had told the students protesters to show themselves and make smart arguments. In a statement, Federasi said the challenge was readily accepted by Borneo Comrade activist Mukmin Natang, who was one of the participants of the rally. Federasi quoted Mukmin as saying that perhaps Kamil thinks this is the right time for him to stand out and to remember his face as he'll surely become a PKR candidate again in the future. Mukmin said this was why he's brown-nosing Anwar Sotoroli. Meanwhile, Federasi said it had contacted Kamil on June 23rd to request that he proceed with his challenge. However, it said his only response at the time was wassalam, and then he reappeared not to respond but to complain to the media, claiming that no one had taken up his challenge. Federasi stated that this isn't confusion, this is the hypocrisy of Anwar's defenders. They challenge people, but when answered, immediately dodge. It said this was cowardly, dishonest, and lacked integrity. The National Youth Federation added that it will contact Kamil again for the debate. Yesterday, former Law Minister Zaid Ibrahim drew comparisons between the suspension of Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra by the nation's courts and the shackled Malaysian judiciary. Zaid claimed that while the Constitutional Court in Thailand exercises real authority by unseating prime ministers and annulling elections when constitutional breaches are found, Malaysia's judiciary is hindered by institutional design and political reticence. We asked our viewers if they thought a prime minister should step aside during investigations allocations to maintain public trust, even before guilt is proven. Let's take a look at the responses. 56% said that they should, as it will set a precedent for accountability. Meanwhile, 31% felt that it could lead to cases being used for political gain. 11% said that it would depend on the severity and credibility of the allegations. What are your thoughts on this? Share your views in the comment section below. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.